So, in today's video, I will be reading comics I made when I was 14 years old. And warning, these comics are very cringy, or my first attempt at writing storylines. So, this is the introduction. Yeah. Um. So, from when I was 13, I started this stupid franchise called the JCM, and it had the word comic in it. I really did. I tried to make a story, but it was all over the place, and it didn't make any sense, in my honest opinion, because uh, a couple days ago, I actually went in my closet, found one of the comics I made for the JCM, read it, and I didn't like it. The art was terrible, and the it just didn't click with me, like it just was not good. But today we're going to review free comics. We're going to review free comics from 5 years ago when I was 14, and it's almost Christmas. And guess what? All three of these comics were made in the week of Christmas, actually. So, you might be asking, why am I wearing a scarf right now? Well, it's 14 degrees outside where I live, and the cold is kind of getting in my house, so a scarf is necessary, and I just wanted to cover my head up too, so that's why I'm wearing this. So this is why I'm wearing this as well. Uh, but anyway, let's get into the. Okay, so these are the comics. So let's see. These are the comics that I made when I was 14 years old, and we're going to check out each one of them. So, let's do it. Okay, so this is this is Kingar. This is the comic. Kingar Part 2, third X Kingdom Civil War, JCM J Comics, made by Josh.S.Powell, my name, and the dates on the back. It's December 31st, 2022. I mean, no, 2020. 2020. And you got G in the back. You got, yeah, actually, this comic does have some props to it, but it's not good. Okay, so let's see. No way. The second X Kingdom Civil War that started in 600 continues. And there's no way that I'm reading all this. So, just to sum it up, a war happens. Okay, the right bottom down part of the X Kingdom is then X Kingdom, but with X, the son of Khan is king, and the top part of the X Kingdom is the different kingdom called the Gar Kingdom, with its king Gengar, and the two different kingdoms battle the second X Kingdom Civil War, and then in 615, the X and Gar Kingdom stopped fighting, but there was never a real treaty made to end the second X Kingdom Civil War. But some people in the kingdom say that the second X Kingdom Civil War have great, I spelled that wrong. Almost 14. Okay, have ended in 615, and then there are honey fights, and then in 1707, X's son Buck, sorry, is puts together an army, and then right away, whole left down part of the land, and basically, Buck basically makes his own kingdom and rebels. There's no way I'm reading all that. I don't know how the heck my 14-year-old self even wanted to write all that. You have all these small people at the top fighting, and there's Gengar right there. And then the battle continues, and Gengar's wife, Misa, gets hurt, badly hurt. Get up, so then you will not slowly die. Misa, don't die. And he just repeats that phrase 2 more times and whines, Gar, I am not going to make it. Wait, help me. Stop it, Gar. I love you. And then she basically just dies, and Gengar just goes on this tangent about how he's going to get revenge and then Buck basically he attacks. Um, and then there's Kingar and there's X. So they were enemies, but now they become allies. There's this treaty. Technically, if you pause the video, you could basically just read these words yourself. I mean, it's a lot, and somehow this is still a comic of mine. And then, of course, the war continues. Buck sends his army. A bunch of stuff happens, and Kingar and X get their armies to the city of Buck. So, yeah. And then Gar basically just gives some speech. He gives a speech, and they fight in the city, and the wall is destroyed, and then finally King Buck goes out and fights King Gar. Gar, you cannot win. You will die. Give up. Now I know you had defeated my grandfather Khan and killed him, but I will kill you. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, really. So he's the villain. He's the villain. You see, there he is. Then Kingar pushes Buck off the platform, and Buck falls to his doom into the fire. No! Then Kingar and everybody with him get out of the burned city. Keep going. Then there is peace, and the third X Kingdom Civil War ends. But as time goes on, Kingar gets madder and darker. And then in 1808, I have a plan. Then Kingar and his army go to X. X, I think we should add some stuff to the treaty. Gar, like what? Stuff like, you know, don't you? No, I don't, Gar. But it turns out it was an assassination attempt. And while they're talking, a fire is made, and the city of X starts to burn down. Gar, why are you holding a fire sword, and what's going on? But before X can know what's going on, Gar hits his fire sword into X, then X falls into the fire and is killed. Yeah, because he launches a sword, and then X just perishes. Then Gar goes back home, and then the next day. So I'm not reading all this, but basically just sum it up. King Gar basically he unites the X Kingdom, and then he turns the X Kingdom into an empire and starts conquering planets. Continue. Find out what will happen next in King Gar in King Gar Part 3. For some reason N was there for some reason. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. And technically I'm not allowed. I'm setting some rules. I'm not allowed to rate these free comics until I'm done reading or scanning through all of them, because technically I did read some parts of this comic, but because there were so many words and I just wasn't really, and it's kind of just, I just didn't read all of it. Okay, so this was the first one, and let's see, the second one. Come on, get out of the way. Okay. The J-Force. JCMG Comics, made by Josh.S.Powell, and the date I made it was December 27, 2020. I was most likely 14 at the time. So. And we got a lot more characters on this cover. And hopefully this comic tells us who they are. Okay, so there is a epilogue. Basically, there's this there's this superhero I made up called Joss Man, and coincidentally, his real name is Josh Dixon, so why is he called Joss Man? Like, why did I name him that? It doesn't hide his identity. What? And somehow the characters think well, okay, anyway, he has a couple sons, a daughter, and basically this epilogue just recounts of his life after he wins against King Gar. And Josh Dixon let go because he does not want his kids to see it and thinks in his mind to keep the truth from them. But one day X-Rays goes looking for something and finds a box, then hopes, but then he opens it and finds out. Yeah, that's like, but what's inside the box is basically This box basically has Josh Dixon's superhero garments as Joss Man, and his son opens the box when he's not supposed to. What is this? I was looking and around and found the suit in a box, and I know it is our dad's. Extra sees, what is it? Then Natalia, Dawn, and Ern bolt lightning out of their hands. What is going on? So they have light. So they have lighting powers. So I guess that means that's Xeres, that's Dan. Dawn. That's Ern, and that's Natalia, and they're the offspring of Josh Dixon, Joss Man. And at this point, I don't know who these two are. Probably the villains. Um, then Josh Dixon goes into the room. You're in so much. What the? Okay, I did. Okay, looks like 14-year-old me spelled much and trouble incorrectly. So much trouble, and you're all grounded for 5 weeks. Exorcies. Stop. But, Dad, I was just looking around and found what you're hiding, and I told them. Okay, so this panel comes after this one. No, but actually, you're grounded for the rest of your life. And then he just slams the door. And then they turn against him. Exorcies, get out. Exorcies, we hate you. But guys. And then Exorcies goes out of the room and sits on his bed. Just then, a man bolts fire into Exorcies' room, and then the man comes in. Okay, and then of course he does that, and guess we're gonna find out who this guy is. Exorcies, I am Jake Nett, and I know that your dad and Natalia, Dawn, and Ern hate you. Join me or die. What is your choice? Join me or die. I will join you. Then Extrees goes with Jack Nett and becomes Extrees Boy. Oh great, another unoriginal name where the hero or the good guy or the character just picks their first legal name and puts it in front of man or boy, like Joss Man, Extrees Boy. That's just what the heck was my 14-year-old self thinking. Then in the morning, Josh Dixon or I don't know, finds out what happened. Asher is my son. Then Josh Dixon puts together the J-Force to try to find Extrees and go and get him back or something. And I and Dr. Nett, we will make Joss Man pay. Extrees, me and Jake are your family now, and I will make you a net. Okay, so that's Dr. Nett, and he's actually this guy's dad. They're actually related, but he's not related to them. He's just going to be part of their group. Then Dr. Nett and Jake Nett bring Extrees to a high platform. Extrees, do you forget about Josh Dixon and everything about him and become a Net? I will. And my name is now Extrees Net. And then, another way. Now you two must go and find the Nexus of Doom. If you don't find it, then the universe will die. After that, after they find it, I will rule over everything. Then Jake and Extrees Net go out and start their search through 14-year-old me who clearly couldn't spell search for some reason. And the Necros of Doom was ripped apart after Jossman and had used it to destroy Kingar and save the multiverse. The neck was ripped apart into 5 different parts in 5 different places: New York City, Washington, D.C., Rome, the Moon, and Mars. We will find out Extrees and stop Dr. Net from getting the Necklace of Doom. So the main antagonist of the J-Force comic is Dr. Net, and I think if I remember correctly, Dr. Net and Jossman actually were bitter enemies. And Dr. Net wants revenge, and his son Jake Net is on board with it, and they get one of Jossman's sons involved. But the Necklace of Doom was destroyed. How is it? Yes, it was destroyed, but it was ripped apart into. Oh yeah, basically he just talks about what he basically tells Dawn this text in his words. I just know now, okay? And I don't even know what but how do you know all stuff? Well, it makes sense. He's Joss Man, so he obviously knows that stuff. But anyway, we must find the Necklace of Doom, find X-Rays, and stop Dr. Net. Then Jossman went and outside and tried to fly, but he could not because he had not done it he had not done it for 15 years. I know now that I know what is going on. I can't fly because I have not done it for 15 years. Then Jossman and the J-Force and find two of the parts of the Necklace of Doom. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. And then Jake and X-Rays Net come out of nowhere. X-Rays, you don't have to do this. Come back. I'm sorry I was thrown. You're right. I don't hate you. But then Jake pushes Jossman off of the platform. And then he basically, X-Rays, kill him now. You're one of us. You're on my side, not his. So kill him now. X-Rays looks first at his father, Josh Dixon, and then at Jake Net. And then he looks at himself. Then back at Jake Net. I'll do what I should have done a long time ago. What are you waiting for? Kill him. And what is boom? And then he attacks him. Ah! And then actually redeems himself by defeating Jake Net. Well, at least Jake didn't call himself Jake Man. So when actually redeems himself, he is out into a deep sleep. And you'd bring X-Rays back home. Then the J-Force go off and find an army of robots. Yo, you, the J-Force, come out. You cannot win. Ha 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 ha. We know we can stop you and your master, Dr. Net. We will. Well then, if you will not come out, then you will die. And then they fight the robots. Yes, we will. We can do this. Keep firing, kill them. Then a robot fire at Jossman, and Jossman is killed. Okay, so is that the end of Jossman? Is that the end of him? But then Jossman comes back to life and rises up and destroys the robot forces. Then Jossman goes up into Dr. Net's tower. I am back from the dead. Now let's do this. And I did not know I could bring myself back to life. Dr. Net it is over. Your plan is not to work, so give up. You really think you win? I had the Necklace of Doom. Dun 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 dun. They were trying to stop him, but turns out he now has a Necklace of Doom. So I guess so far the villain is actually winning. Give up, I will win and rule. Kill me, I will come back. It does not matter. It does not matter how many times you kill me, Dr. Net. I will come back. Get away from me! What are you scared of? You! Dr. Net, stop. The Necklace of Doom could destroy you. Never. Well then. Then Jossman hits Dr. Net down, then Dr. Net hits him down. Dr. Net, you could still change. You don't have to be the bad guy. You can still do what's right by taking off the necklace now. Then Dr. Net goes boom. So yeah, the necklace was clearly dangerous, and Dr. Net doesn't listen, and the necklace destroys him, since he just explodes. Then Dr. Net's tower goes down. I guess I still got it in me, and yes, I did it! You're a hero! Then Jossman goes back to his home. Extras, you did it. You redeemed yourself. I love you too. Yes, I love you. I will not go hard on you ever again in my life. I'm just happy to have you back. And then there is a epilogue talking about the descendants of Jossman that we don't care about. So yeah, I feel like a lot more stuff actually happened in the J-Force than the King Gar one. And now we finally get to the last one for this video, which doesn't have... Okay. Far future. December 23rd, 2020. Another comic I made when I was 14 years old. And probably has a terrible story, too. More than a few million years, and then Rogar was born, but without a body. So to save his life, he became 98% robot, and then in 5 billion C or AD, he then went to the tower and Evil Twine, and then he basically talks about how Jossman destroyed the Necklace of Doom and the X Empire, the first one, led by Rogar's ancestor King Gar, and then he's like, I'm just gonna make the second empire and take over, and he just does that. Then Rogar and the new formed second X Empire go up into space and destroy the sun, which without the sunlight, the sky becomes dark, and the second X Empire destroys so many cities. Then there is just 100 cities left. So they go there, destroy the sun, the skies darken, and people start going crazy. Then they develop these S robots, which for some reason go after people. This is like too much to read. So yeah, this robots look like spiders, and they start attacking people, and then these people escape. We must go! And then they escape, and then so this guy's name's Tom, he doesn't look original, and the few men run for 6 weeks until they get to a city, New York, and they went to a door and hit it. Let us in! Come in! We must fight back and destroy the Second X Empire! And then Jossman gives a speech that I'm not going to read, because he says you have to fight against Rogar, and then his descendant, Luther S. Dixon, says I am with you, and think we should fire back. And then Luther put together the army of the last 100 human cities that are left, and goes to a base. We must fight! Anyway, let's show the X Empire who's boss! Ah! Yeah, those S robots who look like spiders, they come. And then Luther got 2 guns out and destroyed 65% robots. S robots in just the Battle of the Human X Empire War. Then afterwards, he went on a different base. And then he just did the same thing. He used his guns, destroyed them, and just kept destroying them. And you see them. There they are. There they are, and there's he. Then Luther went to a 5th base, and he destroyed it with a bomb. Now we boom it up. What do you mean explode? What? Boom! Then Rogar finds out. Time for his reaction. What? We must get him. Well, then if he wants to destroy, then we will destroy him. Get out. 100 bombs now. Well, Luther Dixon destroyed one of her bases with a bomb. So, okay. Then Rogar sent 600 ships in a city and hit it and destroyed it with 100 bombs. Yes! That city is no more. Ha 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 ha. And now get more bombs and more bombs. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, so he's the villain. And he's a tyrant. And then he just does some more, and then he just does more of that before Jossman's like, I'm going to stop him myself. Now I know we've been fighting and losing for like 99 years, but I have a plan to end the Second X Kingdom once and for all. And then he just gives another speech and then Luther he destroys all the guards, and Tom destroys the bombs, And Jossman goes and confronts Rogar. You're doomed. You will die. Now give up. I hear that the way of life is the end. Ha 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 ha. Let's fight. Bring on, Jossman. Then Rogar turns into a giant as big as the sun. And then he basically just goes on a rant about how he's going to destroy Jossman and the Earth and take over the universe, basically. Well then, I know I will destroy. I don't even know what the heck he's saying. And then he flies into space and he stops Rogar, or tries to. Give up. You will die. I'll destroy the Earth, and then I'll take over the multiverse. Ha 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 ha. I want you. You will not. Okay, never mind. No, I will. What? And then they just fight, and there's a bunch of dialogue, and they have back and forths, and then I think that's a black hole. Black hole shows up or something, and then Jossman hits him in there. No, I will be back. And then Jossman basically sacrifices himself to take him down. And then Jossman dies, right? He dies. You see? He's on the ground. He dies. He goes on this speech about legacy and whatnot. And then he dies. And Luthor takes up the mantle. And Luthor basically puts on the suit and goes to the hill and goes to the dark sky. And he is the Jossman now. Joss Dixon, I will be the best Joss man who ever lived. Later, Luthor S. Dixon will go into his new job as the new Joss man, and as he will fight Rokan, Rogar's grandson, and save the multiverse. Find more out in The Last Joss Man. So now, I get to rate all three of these. Starting... Okay, so as I rate them, I put them down on the table. Okay, so I'm gonna rate them, okay, so first is King Gar. 3 out of 10. Didn't make any sense. The J-Force. 4 out of 10. At least it had a villain and some stuff that also didn't make sense. And Far Future. 2 out of... No, I guess 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 for this one. I know what it was trying to do, but it was too much. There was too many words in the comic. And it was too long, and the fight scenes, it sucked, and it just didn't work. So, what is the total score? What is the total score of all three of these out of 100? If this is, I think I said 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10, and 3 out of 10. Well, guess what? That together, these 3 comics I just reviewed and tried to read and understand, trying to understand comics I made when I was 14 years old, together, their final rating out of 100, not 10, together, not separately, is 8 out of 100. Yeah. Unlike my current franchise, The Big Fat Man, the J-Sim doesn't really hold up. But at least I took a trip down memory lane and saw these terrible terribly written storylines I wrote when I was 14. I hope you enjoyed me reading some old comics I made when I was 14 years old that were really bad in story and plot and characters and whatnot. But at least I took a trip down memory lane. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and comment to my channel.